that we're reading today. In this book, you're going to learn a lot of information about grasshoppers. Remember, nonfiction books teach us things that are real. Grasshoppers are real. There's going to be a table of contents. There's going to be real pictures. I'm so excited to learn about it. But first, you got to remember your goal. Your goal for today is I can identify the main purpose of a text. That's a lot. That means I can figure out why the author wrote this. Why did the author write this? What did they want to do? Like, it's not just to make money. They write books for a reason. What reason did the author write Grasshopper for? Let's start by looking at the table of contents. So the table of contents is in the front of the book, and it's going to tell us all the different things we're learning about and what pages we can find them on. So it says, what are grasshoppers? How are grasshoppers born? How do grasshoppers grow? What do grasshoppers eat? Which animals eat grasshoppers? How do grasshoppers move? Where do grasshoppers live? Oh my gosh, there's so many questions in this book. I wonder if it's going to answer all the questions. I kind of want to know where they live and what they eat. And I really want to know how they move because I'm pretty sure that they jump. I remember when I was a kid, I would try to touch grasshoppers and then they go boom, and then they'd be gone and I couldn't find them again because they're so fast. All right. What are grasshoppers? Grasshoppers are insects. They have 6 legs. There are many different types of grasshoppers. Ooh, look at them. Some grasshoppers are called crickets. Some large grasshoppers are called locusts. I didn't know a cricket and a grasshopper were the same. I thought they were different. That makes sense though, because crickets, they do jump just like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers have long bodies. They have 4 long wings and large eyes. They have 2 feelers on their heads, and their 2 back legs of a grasshopper are much longer than the others. So at the top, they kind of look like antennas. Those are feelers. I know that because it says it right here. And their legs, oh wow, yeah, they do have really big legs. Well, only in the back. Their back legs are really big. That's probably for jumping. Grasshoppers have very hard skin. So it's not easy to cut them. Their skin is either green or brown. This one is the same color as the leaf it's on. Can you see the grasshopper? At first, I couldn't see it. I thought it was part of the leaf. But he's on there. So cool. He's camouflaged. Some grasshoppers are much bigger than others. Many grasshoppers are about as long as your little finger. Look at it. Look at it. It's on his finger. It's on his finger. Female, that means girl, woman, female. Girl grasshoppers are a bit longer than the males. So the girl grasshoppers are longer than the boy grasshoppers. Apart from the difference in size, the males and the females look alike. Oh, so the longer one is actually the girl, and the shorter one is the boy. So cool. How do grasshoppers grow? Yeah, how do they grow? Well, grasshoppers grow very quickly. When they get too big, their skin splits. It splits? Female. Girl grasshoppers are a bit longer than the males. So the girl grasshoppers are longer than the boy grasshoppers. Apart from the difference in size, the males and the females look alike. Oh, so the longer one is actually the girl, and the shorter one is the boy. So cool. How do grasshoppers grow? Yeah, how do they grow? Well, grasshoppers grow very quickly. When they get too big, their skin splits. It splits? Their skin splits open? I wonder if they need Band-Aids. When their skin splits, the grasshopper crawls out. Ew. A new skin has grown underneath the old one. That's called molting. Oh, so if you look in this picture here, you'll see that the grasshopper is crawling out of his old skin because he got too big for it. That reminds me of when I was growing up and like my shoes didn't fit anymore, so I had to get new shoes. Or like when my pants or my shirts or my clothes didn't fit anymore because I kept growing, then I would need to get new clothes. So it seems like the grasshopper grows out of his skin and then he needs bigger skin. And that's called molting. Cool. Grasshoppers molt 4 to 6 times before they're fully grown. When they are bigger, their new skin has wings. Oh, so like when I get bigger and like I'm an adult and then they get bigger and they're adults, but they get wings. I want wings. That's not fair. Life would be so much more fun as an adult if I had wings. What do grasshoppers eat? Look at that question up there. What do grasshoppers eat? What do you think this page is going to be about? Yes, I think it's going to teach me about what they eat too. It's going to teach me about grasshopper food. Grasshoppers have strong jaws called mandibles. They use them to cut and chew the grass and leaves that they eat. Some crickets eat caterpillars, snails, and worms. Ugh. So, I'm going to read that one more time. They use them, their mandibles, to cut and chew the grass and leaves that they eat. Some crickets eat caterpillars, snails, and worms. They eat lots of different stuff. Let's see if you remember something that they eat. Yes! Oh my gosh, I can't believe they eat snails. Blech. It's all gooey. I wouldn't eat a snail. Remember, locusts, those are the really big grasshoppers. Locusts are large grasshoppers. They live in big groups called swarms. They eat fields of crops in a small time. So crops are like on a farm, it's the things that grow. So they eat a lot of grass and vegetables and things that grow from the ground. I'm learning so much about grasshoppers. Which animals eat grasshoppers? What animals do you think eats grasshoppers based on this picture? Yes, definitely birds. I bet birds are in here. Let's see. Most grasshoppers are attacked when they are still in the egg or when they are very young. Spiders eat them if they land on their webs. Birds, snakes, and lizards also eat grasshoppers. Wow, that's a lot of animals that eat grasshoppers. Birds, snakes, small time. So crops are like on a farm, it's the things that grow. So they eat a lot of grass and vegetables and things that grow from the ground. I'm learning so much about grasshoppers. Which animals eat grasshoppers? What animals do you think eats grasshoppers based on this picture? Yes, definitely birds. I bet birds are in here. Let's see. Most grasshoppers are attacked when they are still in the egg or when they are very young. Spiders eat them if they land on their webs. Birds, snakes, and lizards also eat grasshoppers. Wow, that's a lot of animals that eat grasshoppers. Birds, snakes, spiders, lizards. They better be careful. What? And frogs? Frogs, newts. They catch the grasshoppers with their long tongues. So, did you ever see the cartoons when the fly is flying by the frog and he's like, bleh, and then he eats it? Now they catch grasshoppers too. So when he's hopping along, bleh, frog catches him. Hop, hop, bleh, catches him. How do grasshoppers move? Grasshoppers usually move by jumping. That's why they're called hoppers. The hopper. They have very long back legs to give a strong push off the ground. They can jump very high. Oh my gosh, look at that picture of him jumping. He can jump really high. He almost looks like pretty in a way. He's like leaping into the air. All grasshoppers have large wings, but only the locusts are good at flying. So even though they have large wings, they're not good at flying. It's kind of like turkeys. Turkeys have wings, but they're not good at flying. Last chapter. Where do grasshoppers live? What do you think we're going to learn about on this page? Yes, we're going to answer the question, where do grasshoppers live? I think they live in the grass, but that's just a guess. Grasshoppers live in nearly every country. Most grasshoppers live in thick, grassy areas, or they live in the woods. That makes sense. Some grasshoppers live in houses, and some live under the ground. Others live in sand dunes, and some live on cliffs. Oh, so they don't need grass either. They can live in the sand. Then that's a silly name for them if they don't need the grass. All right. Actually, I am going to do one more chapter because I think this is really, really, really interesting. Oh no. How long do grasshoppers live? How long do they live? Soon after the female grasshopper has laid all of their eggs, both the males and the females die. Grasshoppers cannot live through a cold winter, but the eggs survive and they hatch in the spring. Oh no. So the grasshoppers only live for like 1 year? They lay their eggs and then they die when it's cold. Poor grasshoppers. Well, at least there's going to be more grasshoppers living when all of their eggs hatch. The end. This was a bug book about grasshoppers. Now, why do you think the author wrote this book? Think